office of the Viewpoint Live by calling 875-1490. The opinions expressed by our callers and guests do not necessarily reflect those of the management and staff of AM 1490 WHPV. And now, here's today's Viewpoint.
And good morning and welcome into the Thursday morning Viewpoint for this Thursday morning. I tell you, we're sitting here laughing because I do have to be careful about making sure that we've got the right day and the right time and the right names for our guests and just the whole 9 yards. And I had mentioned earlier that our scheduled guest, Lydia Chapman, she's no longer scheduled. She is here. Good morning, Ms. Chapman.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Now, which
It's Thursday.
Yeah. As I told you, I had a conversation with Mayor Moss yesterday, and we had to make sure we were on the same day.
Yes.
And so, but when you're busy and you're doing things, it's very easy to get, a little not confused, but mixed up on the days.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mayor Moss, he will be here tomorrow. He's tomorrow's guest.
Okay.
And now, which organization are you representing this morning?
That's funny. This morning, I am here representing the Selma Center for Nonviolence.
And you guys have something special that you're doing.
Yeah, we actually have quite a few things special that are happening. There are some great programs that are kicking off. There have been some amazing advancements when it comes to PERC Selma, which is a partnership for equitable and resilient communities. And so we are excited about all of the things ahead for us.
Let me stop and again express my condolences in your loss for Mark Miles.
Yes.
And I think this is the first time I believe you've been on since, and in fact, I remember, I believe it was the King holiday. I saw you and Ianka at the Edmondites, and so that was the first time we had seen each other since that had happened. It was really tragic event, and so I think you guys are doing something special to continue his work. What is that?
So one of the things, and thank you so much for your condolences. We've gotten messages from all across the country because Mark wasn't just special to Selma. Mark was special to this nation.
Right.
And he was like a brother to me, a little brother. And so a part of why I'm even hesitating is because I haven't talked live about him.
Yeah.
And the other part is because I wanted to pull up the flyer because I want to give correct information. And so a part of what Mark was doing is actually directing our restorative practices department at the Selma Center. He's a huge loss to not just the Selma
You have to have a heart,
yes.
For community work. I hear people talk a lot of trash, and they won't lift a finger to do any work.
Right.
But I know personally that he was another hard worker,
Absolutely.
that was passionate,
Yes.
about trying to help young people and get them focused and put on the right track.
Absolutely.
So
he brought his whole self to his work. And as a part of what we're doing to honor his life, as well as to continue the legacy of restorative practices in our community, we are hosting a series of trainings. Now, the first training actually occurred on February 9th. There was an advocacy training in partnership with an organization from Montgomery that was held at the Selma Center. But coming up on February 18th, which I think is next Wednesday, there is a restorative circle keeper training, as well as on February 28th, there's an opportunity for people to become restorative circle keepers. And so,
what are restorative practices? Educate us.
So restorative practices are historically linked to Native Americans, to African culture, many indigenous cultures around the world. It involves people coming together and talking out issues as opposed to seeking other remedies to conflict. And so we are excited to be able to continue Mark's work. We're not excited that he's not here to lead the work.
Right. No, I hear you.
But we are very much excited about the interest even that the community has in continuing what he was doing, because he really left a powerful legacy.
Is there an active relationship with the Native American community in Alabama involved in any of these restorative practices?
So not in Alabama, but in other states.
Other states?
Yes, because we actually introduced restorative practices as a part of the TRHT work, the Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation Initiative that we have been a part of for years, through which was initially funded by the Kellogg Foundation. So the work here, we had the opportunity to learn literally from indigenous practitioners.
Right.
And we have continued to learn from practitioners from across the country. And our very own director of training, Lakeisha Tilton, is known in many spaces across the country as a premier trainer. And so she will be on hand personally training folks on the 18th and on the 28th.
And so what's the cost?
It is absolutely no cost.
What?
There is no cost to this training. And the goal is, because see, Mark picked this city up and put us on like his book bag on a day-to-day basis. He wore us. No matter how heavy the load got, Mark was willing to face the music, if you will, and put his hand on the problem. Like what you're saying, that there are a lot of times that we run into folks who are not, who complain about a lot of things, oh, these youth and all this and all that, but they're not willing to do anything about it. Mark literally picked our problems up, many of our issues that folks complain about on a day-to-day basis, and put Selma on his back like a book bag. And so what we're hoping to see is that people will want to become circle keepers, so that we can continue that work. And what it entails is, so a circle offers an opportunity for people to express themselves. It's being a circle keeper doesn't mean just convening people. There is work that can be done and should be done in order for a circle to be successful. Preliminary work, right? So let's say, for example, there's a conflict between two young people at school. It hasn't yet, or could have potentially escalated into a physical altercation, but we don't want it to get any further than a fight, right? So as a circle keeper, I would want to talk to the adults who witnessed or know about about the situation. Then it's my job to also go and talk to the young people individually, right? I'm having individual conversations with each of these folks, trying to get information. This is really like the data collection process.
Right.
Now I can go back and formulate questions, right, to make sure that once we get into that circle together, because this again is a process to resolve conflict. So now my questions are going to be formulated according to the data, the information that I know. And it's probably going to take more than one circle, right? It may even take more than one opportunity with each person who needs to be engaged with the circle, especially if you have the victim and the offender, right? Or the persons who are labeled as victims and offenders, because there could have been something that happened 2 years ago that now is coming up for that person, and that's why they offended, right? But the goal is to restore, to balance the scale back out, so that it's no longer one or the other, that you want to balance the scale back out, and for folks to know that that harmed me, regardless of how long.
Well, now have you? How do the young people respond when you go through this process with them?
So the young people respond in a way that I think would amaze most of us, especially those who jumped on Facebook and we're
fueling it and,
right,
and promoting and pushing the violence.
Okay, those folks who may be in comments, like you said, fueling it or not, or just want to complain about what's happening.
Right.
It would amaze you, because we literally we started out in RB Hudson before COVID, got some amazing results. We went back when Mark came back to Selma. We immediately went back into RB Hudson, and then we also spread over to Selma High. we've seen extraordinary drops in referrals to juvenile court. Went from the top of the school year last year, the top of the school year, having multiple referrals, like dozens of referrals, down to little to nothing. Because when you get into it before, right, when you get into the meat of and identify the root cause before things escalate, it helps
you
people
can de-escalate,
to see,
huh?
right? It's like, oh,
yeah.
So you really ain't say that about me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't really mean it like that.
You know, I hear it all the time. Even on this show, people will say things and that they're repeating that they've heard from, and it's totally inaccurate. This the opposite of what was actually said or done.
Right.
And so, but I remember when I was in elementary school, we used to have that exercise where, the class would get in a circle, and the teacher would wrote down what she said, and would start whispering in the ear of the first person.
That telephone game.
And then everybody would do the same. You whispered to the next person, and when you got to the end, it's altogether different from how it started.
Altogether
rumors.
Yep.
Rumors can be very dangerous.
Absolutely.
And create a lot of violence unnecessarily.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that's good. And so, how do the adults react to this process?
For the most part, adults now parents are grateful. Right. When parents know what, the experiences that their children are going through, parents are truly grateful.
Right.
Sometimes it can be hard because, especially in schools, because folks are busy, right. To like have that, folks be able to sit down and like really engage and talk about. But then on the other side, once you break, it's like an egg. Like once you break the shell, you get to the good part, right? Because we all really honestly want to be heard. Randy, I did a circle with a group of folks who are involved in our criminal legal system from a couple, multiple perspectives, from law enforcement to attorneys, what have you. And it was so interesting to me. Mark and I actually were a part of it. And when we debriefed, I actually said it out loud during the session, but we also debriefed. It was amazing to see, and I said it, that y'all in this circle, we have a talking piece, right? So if you have the talking piece, you are the only person whose voice can be heard at that time. Because a part of it is to listen. Like a huge part of a circle and why they work is because people are forced to listen. You're not doing the back and forth if you don't have a talking piece.
Quiet.
Yes. And people really need to talk. And I said to the folks in that room, y'all, we are people that quote unquote have privilege. And do y'all see how we all wanted to share a piece of ourselves as this, as the talking piece moved around? So imagine our children, many of who have been silenced at home, at school, don't go to church, or if they go to church, they've been silenced there as well. You know what I'm saying? If you're not talking Bible verses. So those things are important. People want to be heard. And so to answer your question, adults respond initially can be a little hard to get to because of scheduling and things like that. But once the process starts, it is a beautiful process because people generally want to be heard.
That's interesting. Yep. That's really important. I think there's a lot of the problem that we have in our various communities. Like, as you said, not having the ability to listen, really powerful. Let's take a break. And then we will be back with more. Our guest this morning, Ms. Lydia Chapman. She is no stranger to the Viewpoint audience. And we will continue with more after these messages. Yeah.
We would talk about to put some pretty furniture in your home. You need to get to Grays on Broad in Selma. And because of fantastic response, they still have their living room suites at 20% off regular price. There's one-of-a-kind items and beautiful furniture for every room in your home. And 12 months interest-free financing. Open 9:35 Monday through Friday and 10 to 3 on Saturday. Grays on Broad. Furniture you will love to come home to.
Meadows Tire and Automotive is a local family-owned company that takes pride in taking care of your.
Pastor Grayson did at the theater. They did a great.
Yeah, I heard about that.
everybody. So that was a part of it, like to keep those young men engaged,
Right.
you know, that committed themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the important part, right? In any church environment, because if you want, you can come up front or raise your hand, depending on what the process is. Text 777-9311 to, you know, I'm saved. Just, you know, text whatever your process is for joining a church, but it's the follow-up, right? So is there discipleship training?
Right.
Is there, you know, engagement in learning who that person is, what their talents are, how they're going to be able to pour into the ministry or do they help establish a new, you know, program that's connected to the church? So
Well, let's see here.
we got men stepping up, and we just want to make sure that they stay in place.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
1490 WHBB. I wanted you to kind of repeat something I didn't know. You said Mark had was instrumental in getting 40 young men to commit to Christ.
Yeah. So those, for folks who were not able to attend his memorial service, when we laid our friend to rest, at the end of that service, there was an altar call, and over 40 young men. The question was asked: if Mark impacted your life in any way, if you're a man in this room, a young man, a grown man, please stand. And over half of the room stood.
Wow.
And then there was a call to Christ, and over 40 young men came to the front and committed themselves, and we prayed over them. And then the following weekend, Pastor Grayson, who did the eulogy, hosted a breakfast at the Walton Theater, and many of the young men came back. Like they showed up. Parents, mamas brought their sons because they want to see their sons engaged in positive activities. And there were so many adult men that also committed to becoming mentors. They showed up. It was interesting. The composition of the room. Mayor Moss was there. Former Mayor Perkins was there. DeMonte Purifoy, who has Men of Standard, which is an awesome mentorship program and youth engagement for young men. And so to watch this thing take shape, the thing that we're strongly encouraging, even with the trainings that are going to be held next Wednesday and on Saturday the 28th, we are encouraging folks to come out, particularly our men who are stepping up to the plate, right? I know there was a meeting yesterday evening. Pastor Crum brought together some men, and they are looking for this opportunity, right? And hopefully we'll have the majority of them participate in one or both of the trainings, because every Restorative Circle Keeper training is going to give you something different. It's never done the same way. The same tools are given, right? But we participate. If you've ever been a part of a Restorative Circle Keeper training at the Selma Center, you're never, you're that you're not going to have the same experience over and over again. It's not, this memorization of stuff. Oh my God, that is so boring. Who wants to hear that? Like, if you're giving me the same thing over and over.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
But so Ms. Tilton is an amazing facilitator who gives us the same tools, but gives them to us in a way because she's actually facilitating. You experience a circle while you're learning how to facilitate circles. And so they always emerge differently. Like some of the stories, sometimes she uses examples that may be the same. But for the most part,
different conversation, and a different narrative. Huh?
Absolutely. And so you pick up a new, and I've been in Circle Keeper trainings across the country, and every single time I'm learning something different. Learning something new, like, ooh, okay, I could use that. So even if you come on the 18th, the 28th is also another opportunity to take another
perspective and learn something new.
Absolutely.
Oh, can me ask you a few questions? I noticed you used the term referral. Now these referrals from, I'm assuming, is that from the schools?
Yes.
To the criminal, to the juvenile court system. What is a referral?
So when an incident occurs, depending on the issue, young people can be referred to different programs and perhaps to the criminal legal system. And so our goal with restorative circles is to prevent that.
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening actually is the young people start asking for them. Like they start going to their administrators or reaching out. It was like when Mark walked into RB Hudson or Selma, Mr. Mark, let me talk to you. And so literally,
yeah.
And so young people recognize when a conflict is about to occur,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or that they have a conflict and they don't want their feelings to escalate.
Mm-hmm.
And so they look for it. Like they look for the conversations that can help remedy the issue. And so we really are, Mark was one person making a huge difference.
Mm.
If we had 2,000 Marks,
you wouldn't have the problem,
right? Imagine the difference, and you don't have to do it in the schools, right? Wherever your career takes you, like if you work for DHR, if you work for, if you work in the cafeteria, if you're a police officer, right? Imagine having skills that can help you de-escalate situations. If you don't work anywhere and you have children at home, or you don't have children at home, but just you between you and the person that you live with, if you live with somebody. Imagine the impact that could have if you have these tools in your toolkit instead of things escalating. It's a back and forth and it's always got something, no, let's use this talking piece and we're going to talk this out.
Well, if you're trained and you know what you're doing. Yeah. Now, I understand in Montgomery that there's been an app that's been developed by Montgomery Youth to address bullying and violence. I don't know if that has been shared with you guys yet or not.
I don't know that is available in Selma, but I know what is available to Selma City School young people. And I think Dr. Smiley talked about that when she was on the show with you a while back.
Mm-hmm.
There are two programs. One that is not an app. The other is an app that young people can actually check in. It's almost like a therapist on your phone. And so that works really, really well. We have a lot of our young people that are using it. Nobody knows what they're saying. That's not, that's not a thing.
So they have privacy.
Yes. Which is important.
Yeah.
Because you got to be able to trust.
Right. Bottom line, you don't want your personal business out in the street.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the other program is something, I think it's like Be Kind or something like that, Handle with Care, which is a program that notifies folks within a school if something has occurred involving a scholar, so that folks in the building can handle their baby with care. Meaning that they may need some additional, resources during the day, may just need a moment of quiet, something could have happened that caused their child to be up all night and, there was some police interaction at their house. And so, that baby gonna be sleeping.
Trauma.
Yes. So, yes. And it really being able to truly respond to the trauma that our children are experiencing in a responsible way, that we are responsive and not reactive. Because reactive, let me describe the difference for folks. Reactive is the child keeps falling asleep. Get out of my class. You're not going to stay up. Get out of here. Responsive is, hey, babe, come here. Let me talk to you. What's going on? Why do you keep going to sleep? Right? Like, let's ask the questions, because most people are not automatically disrespectful. Something occurred.
Create that. Yeah.
Listen, they could be hangry. It's a thing. Snickers has a whole line of commercials that's focused on folks being hangry, right? So it could be that they're just hungry. So, keep the snacks in your purse or in your book bag.
Or in the classroom.
Right, in the classroom. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds interesting. So what are the dates again, and what's going to happen in the classes?
Okay. So the restorative circle trainings are on February the 18th, which is next Wednesday, and the 28th, which is the Saturday after. So they're 10 days apart. You can attend both of those trainings if you would like. And how you will register, I'll actually put that. I know that we have folks who are watching online. You can either email trainings, that's TRAININGS, at selmacntr.org, or call our office at 334-526-4539. Again, that number is 334-526-4539. And those trainings are free. Those trainings are absolutely no cost to the community, February 18th and February 28th. And then we also have Kingian nonviolence training coming up. That's going to be March 2nd through 6th. Now, that's the full week. We've gone through that training. I think we were in one cohort together.
Yeah, I was in one. I
Yes.
took one. I took
Yes.
the first one, I believe. I didn't do the full 2 weeks.
The
I think I did
the
a
2
week
day.
though, or 2 day
Two
deal.
sessions.
Right.
Yeah. So this is level 1 training. So what you're referring to is level 1 and level 2. But level 1 training gets you, to where you need to be able to facilitate Kingian nonviolence classes. And so that's March 2nd through 6th. So that's the week leading into what we refer to around here as Jubilee weekend. But so, and that's all day, right? So now we have people coming from all across the country to this. They are paying. People in our community, if you live in Dallas County, you can come to this training for no cost.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is, again, a 5-day training. It is free to people who live in Dallas County, and you can give us a call at our office. That number is 334-526-4539. That's March 2nd through 6th for nonviolence training. But February, if you are interested in being a part of the army that we are building of people who are equipped to handle restorative circles, if you want to live like Mark and do what he did and help resolve conflict, we want to see you in the building. Like I said, there are groups of men who are coalescing and becoming one huge, like I said, an army of people who are equipped with these skills. We're excited to see the pastors coming together and setting the bar for our community, because that's what Mark would have wanted. Like, right, we don't want different groups of, right? You can have
silos.
Different, yes,
I got you.
We want folks working together on one accord,
mm-hmm.
right? And so if folks are focused on different things, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's use the techniques that are working.
Is there an age group that you're targeting? What age group are you looking for?
So for training,
right?
No, anybody. Now we prefer adults. We do have within our framework the opportunity to train youth to be,
facilitators.
Restorative circle keepers. However, for these trainings, we're looking for adults, so people who are like 18 and up, who are available on February 18th and February 28th. Now, if neither one of those dates works for you, just follow or like the Selma Center for Nonviolence Facebook page, and you'll be able to follow us and find out about our March and April, the additional trainings that we'll offer. Because again, we are really building for the future. We want to make sure that we're not resting this work on one person.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you have enough people that think positively, the momentum spreads in the community.
Absolutely.
Just like the negative vibe spreads.
Yep.
And
that's the thing. We've got to pick the thing that we feed. Are we going to feed the positive things in our community? Are we going to change the narrative for the better? Or are we going to feed the negative things? And so we can't say that we want a better Selma and we throwing garbage on the ground and having all these negative things to say about our community. That's an oxymoron. I can't say that I want you to I want to lose weight and I'm in McDonald's ordering a large fry every day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like the whole meal, and then you get a Diet Coke. Like, really, what difference is that gonna make, right? So the goal is to make sure that we are spreading the positivity, that we're bringing folks together, that we're equipping people. Again, whether you want to learn how to resolve conflicts in your household, on your job, right? Because imagine if we had folks who were trained in some of these governmental offices, who were able to talk to folks in a different way. Right?
Well, again, I hear it and I see it every day. People are focused on the national narrative that we probably can't do anything about, but we can do something about some of these local issues.
Absolutely.
We can impact the local issues simply by being involved.
That's it.
And one voice can make a difference.
we see what Mark did, and that was one voice.
Yeah,
so imagine if we literally got involved, and let's say we don't get 2,000. There may be a lofty goal, like, girl, we can't get 2,000 people trained. Well, what about 300?
I know that's
because the people who read a book I read know that 300
can get it done,
man. so yeah, let's get as many folks trained as possible, and let's make some positive things happen with our young people.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are some of the other programs that you guys are involved in at the center?
So we are,
and where is the center located? And give us a geographic picture in our minds, so you know how to get there. You know,
because people pay us back.
I know they do. Mm-hmm.
So we have one of the best views of our iconic bridge in the city. We're not as close as the back of Reflections, but you can see. so not up close.
Not
like
that close, right?
And we do have an amazing view. As a matter of fact, some folks stopped by our campus on yesterday and were like, "Oh my God, this view is amazing! You're right here by the river every day." Like, yeah. But our address is 8 Mulberry Road, and for those of you all who are unfamiliar with where Mulberry Road is, if you go down Water Avenue, so you're passing by the St. James going towards the Old Depot Museum, instead of keeping kind of straight leftish through that traffic signal to go continue down Water Avenue, you're going to bear to the right. So
at the traffic light.
Right, at the light, you're going to make a right.
And that's Mulberry Road.
Yes, that is Mulberry Road. You'll continue around.
Now, the other side is really Martin Luther King.
It is. Street. So you have, if you're driving down Water, to your left, if you turn left, that's Martin Luther King. If you go straight, that's Water. And if you turn right, that's Mulberry. So yes, they're all different names, all on GPS. Although you're not, our building again is not up close to the street, it's closer to the river. So what you're going to look for is a picket fence, and not a building. Yeah, the building you can see once you start driving down our driveway.
Okay, all right. What are some of the other programs that you guys are involved in?
So we are super excited to have this amazing initiative. Folks may have heard me and Inka talk about this thing called the City Center for a long time. We had been trying it in another location, but God is so good. I'm so delighted that we have actually increased our square footage and actually taken ownership and not leasing, but actually taking ownership of a facility on Broad Street. It used to be Swift Drug Company. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Huh. And so it will become and city is like CITI, not like city blocks, like our city blocks, which is diagonal from us. We are CITI, which is Community Impacting Transformation and Innovation. We have flagship initiatives that include the Housing Hub and the Broad Street Exchange. The Broad Street Exchange is focused on entrepreneurship and development. And so we're excited about that because our entrepreneurs, as we are developing real estate assets downtown and in other spaces, folks have got to go in those spaces, right? Because you can have a beautifully renovated building, but if nobody's renting it out,
it's empty, it's not going to be any good.
Right? You don't grow downtown.
I think it was Brooklyn, in fact, Brooklyn, New York. When they started developing the lofts in the downtown area, that was a catalyst, that sparked a lot of the redevelopment of Brooklyn, New York. And so, and that the artist colony and all of those kinds of things, can lead to some real positive
absolutely
results.
And so Selma is positioned, we have long been on the cusp of change. There's a momentum behind us. I don't know if y'all are football fans. I am. So, and I'm a college and NFL. I used to not like college, but college and NFL. But with the NFL, there's this team that I'm so deeply disappointed did not play in the Super Bowl this year. They got some internal stuff, so they need to work that out. So next season will be better. The Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh boy.
They have this amazing thing that they use that is called the tush push. So when they are within like a yard or two, they used this play, and it upset people all, like, not this past season, but year before last. Oh my God, the commission had to meet about it and everything. Like, that's not fair. These men are lifting weights and they know what they are doing. Why are you mad? Why? You just learn how to do it. Okay. Right. So, long story short, Selma is in a position where we are tush pushing. Because what we are doing is moving us beyond this, like, because it's like we've been inching up, like, you know, and what we want to do is get over the hump. And so that the floodgates can open, and that you see the all of the development possibilities, all of the educational possibilities, all of the business opportunities. And so we're tush pushing. PERC is a part of that. The Partnership for Equitable and Resilient Communities is a huge ally in the work to build Selma forward. And a part of that is what we're doing with the City Center. So starting in April, and the link is open now, but starting in April, we'll begin a program that will be based at the City Center on Broad Street called Upward with AI.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Now, I know this, and this is why it's important to our community, because artificial intelligence is here, right? It is impacting the world in ways that I'm sure folks like my mom and others never would have imagined. It's impacting the world like I would not have.
No, we need to be aware of it.
Thank you.
You know, and know that it's going to be a force, and the system is selling it.
Yeah.
It's being sold, and it's not where they wanted to be yet, but they're sure pushing.
And if people who are caring and concerned and ethical, if folks like us don't get involved and learn about AI and are able to use it to be successful.
You can use it. It has
absolutely.
It has, it can be used for some real positive things
absolutely.
Too, to counter the negative.
Yes.
And
so that is actually what we want to do. Upward with AI is powered by an organization based in St. Louis. They view Selma as a more rural partner to their work. They have been operating for over 10 years, doing amazing work with women in St. Louis. And they are extending, right? Extending into Selma. And with Upward with AI, it is a career resiliency hub that will be based in our community. This is the 2026 Selma pilot that we'll start in April, and it is 20 weeks, right? So it's not for the week.
Now, is this for women or for?
It is for women.
For women, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is for women. We're excited about it because there will be 3 weeks. There are 3 parts. So 3 weeks of strengthening our professional confidence with AI-driven workplace information. And so this is, if you are on a job right now and you feel overwhelmed, you need a personal assistant, you need, a secretary and an executive assistant, right? This opportunity is for you because the goal, a part of it is going to be able to coach you into how to effectively use AI to help you improve your workflow. We got to have a work-life balance, right? Part 2, uplifting your work with AI. That's 11 weeks. We're learning communication skills, problem-solving approaches, time management, time and task management, related to AI, how to use this stuff, right? And then 6 weeks of using AI as a strategic career partner. And so we're excited about that. So whether it's resume development, so if you are not clear on how to use AI to get your resume looking good, right? And polished, if you want to excel in your current job, right? Or if you want to look for something else, you want to be able to grow beyond your current position.
How about owning your own business?
That's it. Right. Be able to brand yourself and pitch yourself. This is an opportunity for you. So this is open to women of all ages. There are coaches that will be there. So group coaching and individual coaching will be allowed along the way. We will be hosting these sessions in person, although a large part of the learning will be happening online. We will actually have in-person sessions. So at the City Center, which is 217 Broad Street, we're excited to help women grow in confidence with using AI and not looking at it as something that is going to harm. Right, right. Because again, if the right folks, if people with some sense, right, are not are not engaged and involved, it's going to be very hard for us to manage coming into the future. And so we are delighted about this partnership with Rung for Women. And when I'm saying rung, like the rung on the ladder, because their goal is
is there going to be a fee involved in this initiative? This is free also. What does a woman, a female, have to do to get involved in do they need to register and all that?
Absolutely. So there are a couple of stages. So there's an initial introductory survey, right, of eligibility that is available online now. So again, if you are following this conversation here online, I'll share it with you, share the link with you, Randy. You can also email me. So folks who are listening,
do you have a flyer on it also?
Yeah.
Make sure you email me the flyer, and I'm sure the link is on the flyer as well.
Yeah. Okay. And the QR code. I don't think you can actually pick that up.
You might be able to. Yeah. Well, no, because it's too. I think it may be too small. Or no, on your phone you might be able to get it.
Yeah. And then wait.
And come on over here a little bit. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So if you're on the screen and you see see the QR code, you can also scan that QR code, or just email me. If that's easier, right? You can do that from your phone when you're not driving. If you're listening to
when you send me the flyer, I'll put it on the selmapostherald.com website.
Awesome.
I'll make sure people will be able to see it. Yeah, I think that's important for women to develop skills so they can be independent and not have to be so dependent on the system. Or at least if you only have one skill, you're going to be in trouble in the years to come.
One skill and how you do that skill, right?
You be good at whatever it is. You need to be good at what you do.
Be excellent.
Right.
Excellence should be our bar. And even with the process that we're going through to update the building some until we do a full renovation, I invited the folks who are doing the work, like, hey, have you been to Reflection? I need you to go in there and like just sit down and soak up that atmosphere. I need you to look around and go 3, 4, 5 times and just to sit, because that's the bar, right?
No, I got you.
We gotta stop just throwing stuff together.
And the other one, at the marina.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You know, there are a couple of places in Selma that I go that you didn't feel like you're in Selma. And that's the goal. I mean, we're not the Selma that we've gotten used to. We need to take it up to the next level. You know what I mean? And Reflections is another one. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And the wonderful work that they are doing along Water Avenue, the Common Power is amazing in the investment that they're making in our community. And we look forward to having other organizations. So hint, if you watch this, share this with people who got money. Come on to Selma. We are building for it.
It's going to take money. You got to be able to afford to wait to make a profit.
Right.
And so you got to have deep pockets.
Deep pockets and deep commitment.
Well, that's commitment is really where it starts.
Right. Because you've got to understand that Selma has hundreds of thousands of visitors, depending on the year of like major events, like Jubilee and things like that. You talk about over 1 million people that come through our community. We've got to have places for those folks to spend money, because you think about all of the development that happened in Montgomery, downtown Montgomery. Those folks came together.
But they planned it though,
and it took years. Now, what they see, and that's the thing. Like we look Prattville, same thing. People in Selma, that did not happen overnight.
Right.
You're talking like the Sportsplex in I think it's in Wetumpka or Millbrook. There's a huge Sportsplex.
Yeah, they finished that. This doing real good out here.
That started like 16 years ago.
Well, but see, the problem is our culture has, we're still in that instant gratification.
Baby, the crock pot is gonna beat the microwave every time.
It doesn't. That's not the way it happens. That's not how it works. And that's why. And I'm sure a lot of people that when I start talking about a view of the world and understanding the process that you have to go through, it doesn't happen overnight, but it has to start somewhere.
Randy, that's like relationships.
Yeah. Well,
now there are some that end up working out, right? That are like, instantaneous.
Very
but
rarely.
For the most part, like
you
if
got to
you've
work
not seen people go through anger,
Right.
people go through sadness,
Right.
people go through grief, or if you've not seen people go through challenges, yeah, because life is gonna throw some things at you. If you've not seen those things, then like pump your brakes, slow down, baby, put it in the crock pot. Don't put
character.
It in the
This is why it's important to build character.
Right.
And I've had a few conversations. I always point to women, and when it comes into my discussion about women, I talk about people like Miss Amelia Boynton, and like Miss Richard Jean Jackson, and or Coretta Scott King, and Juanita Abernathy. They say, oh, them kind of women don't exist anymore.